Welcome to Mental Health Breakthroughs for Young Adults and Families. I'm your host, Carey Conley. This podcast is dedicated to helping young adults navigate through the challenges and learning curves that they're experiencing in every area of life. My personal episodes will be dedicated to helping you with getting clarity, direction, moving through adversity, and living with purpose and hope. I will also be bringing you amazing guests to discuss topics such as finances, career choices, relationships, grief, addiction, positive mindset, mental health, and more. I am on a mission to help you live a life that you love and have the confidence to go after your dreams. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Mental Health Breakthroughs for Young Adults and Families. I am very, very excited to be bringing some guests to you this month in light of World Suicide Prevention Month. As most of you know, if you're listeners of mine, you know that I've been through 2 suicide losses in my life, both my husband and my 25-year-old son in the past 10 years. So I'm dedicating a lot of my life and my work around vision and purpose to this cause and changing that trajectory of that epidemic. And all of my guests this month are people that are also on the same mission I'm on, because they too have been affected by this epidemic. And so they are making a big impact. And one of those people is a young man that I met about 3 or 4 summers ago. His name is Jordan Miller, and he's the founder of an organization called Generation Y, Gen Y, in Oklahoma City. So Jordan, I am so excited to have you back here.
Carey, I appreciate you, man. Every time we talk or meet, I learn things. So I'm excited and honored to be here with you.
Well, I just love what you're doing. And I know, since we have known each other, I don't remember 3 or 4 summers ago, where you were at and where you are now and how much this has grown so fast, unfortunately, and fortunately, for what you are doing. So would you just kind of tell briefly a little backstory of why you created Gen Y?
Yeah, so Generation Y, WHY, we started, this is actually our 7th year, which is crazy. I feel like we'll have to do some celebration on it, but we started it seven years ago, man, in 2017, and we started based off of the statistic in Oklahoma going from 32nd to the 3rd leading state in the nation for teen suicide. And then even before that, dealing with my personal story. So I'm a suicide survivor, attempted twice whenever I was a freshman in college. And then a year after that, I actually lost one of my friends to suicide. And it's wild whenever you go. I was thinking about this the other day. It's wild that, whenever you go through the things in your own personal life, but whenever you're affected by something that happens outside of your life and something, it hits different. And so anyway, but long story short, that was the catalyst and transformation part of this whole story. I lost my friend to it, and then probably 6 months later, man, the name came from I believe God. God gave me the vision and the idea that students and even myself at the time was dealing with not feeling like they have something to live for, not having a why, not having a purpose or an identity, and just finding it in all these other things instead of actually looking inward and realizing that you have literally everything that you need just by showing up, and you are a gift to the world. And so anyways, we started there, and then during that whole time I was in the creative arts scene. So I rap, I do spoken word, and I also DJ. And so I was surrounded by the whole hip hop culture here in Oklahoma City, and luckily a lot of my friends were all on the same heart and mindset to use the gifts that we've been given to impact others. And so I got a bunch of my friends together 7 years ago, and we started hitting the road, and the word caught wind, and here in Oklahoma that there's this crazy group of college-age kids that are going around putting on this amazing performance for students and changing the atmosphere for these schools. And then when, it all caught wind, and we started traveling all over Oklahoma, and then we started traveling even further. And so we go all over the nation, going into schools, speaking about anti-bullying, suicide prevention, and mental health. But the main topic is purpose. We believe that once you are able to understand that you have something to live for, you are enough to live for, that, all those other topics will fall into place. So,
Yeah.
so that's the backstory of Generation Y.
It's amazing how you took your pain and turned it into purpose, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you get this question a lot when you share your story, Jordan, as to, what help, what, because, you could have gone one or two ways, Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And your own attempts and then losing a friend to suicide could have sent you in a whole different path and you
Yeah.
may not even be here.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me to know how God used you. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat.
Yeah.
How God used you to go on this mission. Same with me, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe that we connect so much, is that like we saw the positive side of where you can take your pain. And so and I'm not gonna lie, like there was a lot of times, and even during 2020 and just seasons, man, like you'll go through seasons of like, and I'm sure you deal with this a lot too, is like you tell your
Yeah.
story so much, you kind of have to relive it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not your identity anymore. It's
Right.
something that you've kind of grown through. And now you're able to utilize the things that it's all, I believe it's all to find purpose. It's all change in perspective.
Right.
And so the things that you've gone through can either, you lose yourself, or you, find new parts of you. And so I believe it's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So talk me through a little bit in my audience as to what it looks like when you go in and do an assembly with the kids. Is there a process that you take them through?
Oh, Carey. Oh, goodness.
Did
Okay.
I open
So,
up a whole can of worms?
that's what I love. And this is what I love on the creative side of Generation Y. There's so many motivational speakers that go into schools, do the same thing.
Yeah.
They either, talk for 45 minutes to an hour, kids are falling asleep, or, they do, I don't know, but we're not that. So we go in, and I think that that's the beautiful thing about the creative arts that we use. We utilize these things, not just to get attention. Like, we use these things because we are actually passionate about the creative arts. And we believe that it's a universal language that anybody can be inspired by. Like, everybody can be inspired by somebody's overcoming story or anything that, people have been through. But looking at like something that somebody put so much time into to create out of nothing, and whether it's a dance, whether it's a spoken word or a song or whatever, or a painting, like we have a live painter that comes with us as well, Danny, she's amazing. And like, and so we go in, we set up this experience for the students and change the atmosphere and the mundane, everyday things that these students are dealing with. And, these kids, walk in. You could even see these kids walking in with just so much weight on them.
Mhm.
They're walking in because they had a bad morning, or they had a bad time at class before, or something happened at school with their friends, or even with their parents, or whatever. But you see these students walk into these schools like zombies, man. And what we do, we set up our speakers, our subs, our monitors, our lighting, projectors, projector screens, and literally a whole production. Yeah, and it's cool because like a lot of students know us here in Oklahoma. So whenever we actually, now that we have a van with our logo on it and everything, kids get excited when they see the van pull up. The team calls it, and I call it the Y wagon. So we pull up in our 15 passenger van, man, and then we have our enclosed trailer that has all of our equipment. And yeah, that's our goal, is to create an atmosphere where kids can feel safe, related to, heard, and they see the effort that we put into it, so they know that, oh man, these guys are here for us. And oh wait, I just seen that guy on the court at the Thunder game dancing. And so it's like, these kids just recognize Generation Y and connect with it so much. It's not just a normal motivational speaker with a PowerPoint or a whatever, but it's different. It's an experience. It's something that these students become alive for.
Yeah.
And whenever they hear the stories, they see the art, they see, our workshop type vibe things that we do where we bring them all together and unify the school body. And it's like these students are becoming one. And
Yeah.
that's what our goal is. And our whole team is a very diverse group of people, whether it's race or dance or creative arts or home background stories or anything. But we're all able to come together. And as you know, Oklahoma is it's getting more diverse for sure. But for them to be able to see unification with everything all on one stage, they're like, man, if they can do it, then I love to see that.
So you start with kind of breaking down the barriers, right? Getting them in a whole different energy, unified, breaking down all the walls, right? That separates them. So, give me an idea of just a couple of the things in your process of the exercises that you walk them through.
Yeah. So, I mean, through the experience of Generation Y, I would say it's like an emotional roller coaster. Okay. So it's like, and we also utilize, the multimedia. So we have our screens with videos and QR codes or graphics or just interactive things and like a pre and post test. So it's like the kids can take a quiz on like what they think mental health is to them. And then you take it afterward and you see the change in their answers. They're like, man, I didn't know that. If you're just talking about sadness, that deals with your mental health. Or if you're talking about, just something small, like everybody thinks that mental health is this huge ordeal. And I feel like as society, we're kind of overcomplicating it. But it's like, what makes you tick? What makes you, who you are? Why do you get pissed if your tire goes low? You know what I'm saying? Or what makes you upset? Whenever something happens, or what makes you super happy? What makes you thrive? What makes you excited to wake up? And we want to be able to pinpoint those things. If you can pinpoint somebody's personality and identity, you can pinpoint purpose.
Okay.
So I believe that that's what we're getting to during those things. So like I was saying, the pre and post test or quiz, and then as well, we do a big unification, like kind of dance. We call it the swag surf, and we get everybody together, teach them a dance, and then they're all doing it at once. And the videos of it are wild because you'll have 500 to 5,000 students doing this one thing, and it brings them all together. So it's like we just went through this high, low emotional roller coaster throughout the show. And then now it's like you're ready to accept purpose wherever you're at, like your walls are fully down. And you, as a student, we've seen so many stories where students will want to come up and hand you a suicide note because they, didn't want to continue the next day, and they would say, because you're here today, I can be here tomorrow. And then as well as like something, even I say small, but it's like on a kind of smaller scale, but like even students will come up and say like, this group of kids was bullying me the class period before and probably for the past 2 weeks. But because you were able to come in here and talk about how we need to recognize one another and not make it just about ourselves, and how purpose is individual progress and process, that like, now this one group of students came up to me and apologized to me, and it made all the world a difference. And so you see like students peer-to-peer interaction, you see, people healing, and that be the start of something that is something that they needed. They needed a shake. Right. They needed a wake up in their mundane life. And that's what Generation Y brings. And it's a beautiful experience for sure. So
I've only seen snippets of your production. I've never seen you actually go in and do like a full on assembly, which is why I was asking you what the process is. Cause I have very much a process, as you know, and when I get people to sit through a workshop with me or a webinar or somebody that I coach, I walk them through the process of thinking about their future and what they want to create it to look like, right? They've got to have a really powerful vision. Yeah. Because as you know, I believe when people have a powerful vision, it helps them get through just about everything in life. And so I know that you talk a lot about purpose, and unifying these kids is just amazing because they are so separate from each other. A lot of that has to do with just their upbringing, social media, all the things that are pouring into their life. For you to break
Yeah.
down those walls is pretty amazing. And to get them to think about the fact that they have a purpose and to see a vision beyond where they are right now is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a journey for sure, but I think that, I don't think that, the more so I say like, it's not everybody like puts pressure on, especially this generation of kids. And they're saying, it's because of social media they're doing this. It's because of this. It's because of that. But I really don't think that it's like a lot of it, yes, can come from certain things. But, even whenever I was a kid, there were so many separated groups. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I've talked to my dad, whenever he was a kid, like there were so many separated groups. Everybody as a student, like you're trying to figure it out as a kid, and the only way to do it is they're like, well, I fit in with this group, so I might as well be this or whatever, and they find their identity in groups, and naturally that's what it does. It separates everybody, but whenever you graduate and you get into a college or you leave or you just figure out real life things and you deal with real life things, you realize like, it wasn't about all these groups. Like you see so many students like be a athlete and they found their identity in either basketball or football or whatever. And they're like, I got my name on a flag or whatever, and it's like, that's great. But 5 years later, there's going to be somebody else that's better than that. Or there's going to be somebody else that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so they find their identity. But once they leave that occupation, then they're like, oh, who am I?
Yes.
We
do that a lot with athletes. You and I both know, I know Marcus Black, who is very involved with what you're doing, is very close to Trent Shelton. And that's his story is, he had this whole identity wrapped up in football. And when that ended, it was a slippery slope, and that happens a lot for people. I think, especially in men, Jordan, I think so much of their identity gets tied into their career and, all of that. So I love that you were talking to these kids early on around the fact that they aren't this or that. They're not a role. They're humans. Yeah. Right. And they just need to treat each other with more kindness, more respect, more understanding, because we're all going through this together. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing I'm hearing you say that you do is you kind of just get them to break down those walls. Yeah. And I love that you get them to identify emotions and talk about that. Yes. And to understand that, it is, a roller coaster ride, like you said, right? But it doesn't have to be to where you're at the place where it's so devastating that you think you don't matter or that you don't have a purpose. Yeah.
For sure. And I think being able to name these emotions is, it makes it more tangible for these students, especially like even whenever I was going through, what I was going through, I didn't know anything about anxiety. I didn't know anything about depression, and none of my family went through that. And then come to find out later, I actually had a family member. It was like, I think it was my grandpa's brother or something that actually ended up passing by suicide. But like you see so many students, and young adults or just people in general that, make a big deal about mental health, but they still don't know how to identify, where things come from. 'Cause it's like, okay, now I have anxiety. Let's say I have anxiety right now. But now, where did that, it didn't come from this one specific thing. Like all this pressure over time has caused me to, have this anxious thoughts or anxious just feeling in my body. My body cannot, it's just like shaking up a Coke bottle with, whatever is in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's that pressure. But once you're able to figure out what purpose is and identifying those traits, it's like you're able to relieve the pressure, and you're able to, just be able to realize that. And I feel like a lot of us as people, as humans and as students, they they build that pressure so much that they forget to have grace for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I think is, I think
Yeah.
that's what's beautiful about Generation Y's experiences, because it takes you through life in an hour window. You
Yeah.
know, you got highs, you got lows, you got highs and lows. And then you ultimately, once you come together, you realize, oh, okay, I can rely on my friends, or I can rely on a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
a counselor, a parent, or whoever's trusted. And if they don't look like this, what I just seen on stage, then I'm not going to be able to, trust it, or I'm not going to be. And so Generation Y is a good example of a safe place, a place that you can be able to be yourself. You can be able to fail as many times as you want, and you still can get back up. And
Mm-hmm.
then you still have something to live for, and that's you. So,
Yeah. I love that.
so yeah, I think it's, but naming it like you're saying is like, that's a huge thing that students, need. They need that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is anxiety, but I need to learn how to breathe, or I need to
Right.
learn how to let go, or I need to learn how to not take on all my friends' problems, or I need to learn to not let these labels that other people are placing on me to identify who I am. I know who I am,
Yeah.
but these other people don't know, but because they
Mm-hmm.
want to bully and make fun, or they, people want to make fun of things they don't understand. So,
Right.
so yeah.
So the visual that I'm getting of the process that you can take these kids through is, number one, getting them all into a really fun space where they can just let the guard down, right?
Yeah.
Be able to
Yeah.
be ready to be open to identify what emotions are,
Yeah.
and to diffuse them a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
To not take them on and think, oh my gosh, this is something really bad is happening here. It
Yeah.
just is an emotion, right? Let's identify what it is, where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And then I'm hearing that you give these guys some exercises, some things that they can start doing, like breath work and things to normalize that out, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's so cool in the process. You're doing this in an assembly where they're doing it together, and so
Yeah.
they can see that, again, they're all going through this,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just a part of the human experience.
Yeah. We did a exercise even with on a retreat with our team, and we had one of our mental health advocates that's on our team walk us through like take a step if you ever dealt with XYZ. Take a step if you ever dealt with
Mm,
the loss of a parent, or anxiety, or XYZ. And then you realize, as you're taking this step with the person next to you and six other people next to you, it's like, even though we are dealing with these same things, we're right next to each other.
right.
And that's the beautiful thing about life, about this life, about just this journey, is like, this life is a beautiful thing if you do it together. And I feel like as human beings, we are meant to be in community. And the thing I was thinking about as you were talking earlier is that even to be able to express to these students that they have so much distracting them that
Mm-hmm.
is so it. I mean, yeah, that's what the quote is, like, the enemy won't destroy you, but he'll distract you. And so, but my friend even added on to that the other night. I was talking to him, and he was like, you got to ditch the distractions before they drown you.
Mm,
And I was like, man, that's so true, because, I can get distracted, or I can drown in my distractions.
right.
And if I drown in my distractions, then I forget who Jordan is.
Yeah.
So then ultimately, what do? Like, I ultimately stay in the distractions, and then I'm going
Mm,
down a different
right.
direction than I
Yeah.
should be. And so, but like you're saying, with the having a powerful vision, if you're able to have and set a specific goal for you, then you have somewhere to go. You have
Right.
something to look to. You have somewhere to, power through. Like this is
Keeps you
my
anchored.
stuff. This is my boundaries, and nothing
Yeah.
else can hinder that. So,
Yeah. It's
but it's
helped me a lot, for sure. Jordan, have a purpose,
yeah,
know what my purpose is. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this if I wasn't aware of that.
yeah,
And my vision has pulled me through a lot, because I can make decisions pretty quickly, whether what I'm about to do, or um, the yes or no to an answer becomes really clear for me because it either lines up with the vision and my purpose or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a lot with the distraction thing, with the getting discouraged thing, because a lot of times you and I've been talking about
Mm.
this, that we don't see the results as fast as we want to see them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So I really can't thank you enough for what you're doing for the kids. And I know right now you guys are getting super busy getting called into all these schools because the word is out. You're going to have to
Yes.
get van number 2, Jordan, to hit the road outside of
Yes.
Oklahoma soon. So, wrapping us up, tell me a little bit about what you're envisioning next for Gen Y.
Carey, what is next? Oof. So I would say, um, the thing that we started with, and this is something that I was talking with one of my mentors about. We were talking. There's so many organizations or
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits or anything that they will kind of change their vision and they will change their mission
Mm-hmm.
just to get the money. And my thing is like I could care less about any of that. We all started this, for lunch money, and so we're blessed by God, to be able to do it to the capacity that we are now. And even thinking about, I was getting emotional, man, the other day. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, 2 nights ago, I was getting emotional because I was going down, memory lane about how we started. How we started was
Mm-hmm.
through the passion and through the burden of, if it's just that one kid, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. It doesn't matter what we're here monetary for. We're not here for the money. We're not here for anything. We are here for that kid that is on the brink of, either ending it or just losing themselves. And so I was going through, all that, and I was like, we still are, but we were young, kids, man, and we had no idea that it was going to get to this. And the cool thing about where it's going, it'll always still have that same start and that same passion and drive, because the travel team will still always be a thing. And so the cool thing is that whenever you grow and you evolve, you should only grow and evolve if you can and are supposed to meet that need. And the crazy thing is, Generation Y fulfills so many needs,
Yeah.
that we are trying to decipher which doors to go to, and so.
Mm-hmm.
But last year we started a mentorship group called Y Lead, WHY Lead,
Okay.
and then we started it in a high school here in Oklahoma City, John Marshall High School. And they were on the news a while back for being a pretty wild school. But we've been in there for the past year, and then Marcus has been in there for the past 5 years, mentoring students. And we don't. I mean, you see a little bit of stuff, but it's like,
Yeah.
these adults are painting so much negativity on students that they can't help but become what they're labeled as. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Yes, I
and
do.
the cool thing about what we're doing is we're showing the positivity of what these students actually bring to the table. A couple of the students that graduated that class, they are part of our mentor or our internship class or group throughout this past
Mm-hmm.
summertime. And so those are the three tiers that we will never stray away from. Is the travel team. Travel team impacts 20,000 students annually. Last year we
Mm-hmm.
did 30,000 students, which was our busiest year. 30,000 students last year. And then I see it as like a pure upside down triangle, right? You've
Yeah.
got the travel team impacts
Yep.
20,000 students. You've got the mentorship that impacts 150 students weekly. And then you have the internship that impacts 12 students
Mm-hmm.
specifically that we're doing life with and that we're providing opportunities for, connecting them with mentors, as well as guiding them through the passions and the purpose they feel like they're needing go. And so we're just helping that. And so those are the 3 tiers of Generation Y. And it's dope because and see, I've been putting things together. God's been revealing things, because it's like you set things in the beginning and you don't realize why you said it, but like over time you're like, oh, this goes with this and this goes with this, and it's like,
but that's the vision part, right? That we just have to wait. Yeah, we have to wait to see it all come together. It's patience, friend. We're both in the boat together. Yeah.
Yes, and so with the 3 tiers, because it goes with our mission statement. Right. Our mission statement is inspiring every generation by revealing purpose and providing opportunities to pursue it. The travel team is the inspire. That's what we do throughout the experience. We reveal it through the mentorship. We reveal what purpose is. We're able to show you what it is. Let's do life. Let's talk about leadership, character development, all of the things. And then now it's the pursue side with the interns. Right. So now we're actually doing the things that we said that we were going to do. And so that's Generation Y in a nutshell, man.
Wow. So, you inspire me, Jordan, and I'm honored that I'm on the board for Gen Y now and get to be a part of that future.
We are honored, okay? We are inspired by you, Carey.
Well, I enjoy your energy so much. And, we're just both really on a mission to change some things around here and to leave some healthier generations, right? Yeah. So I want to really thank you again for everything that you're doing. And I want to tell my audience that you need to go and support this organization. And the way that you find them is you go to pursueyourwhy.org. There's lots of ways that you can support them. Volunteering, checking in, asking what they need monetarily helps a lot. So I just want to shout out to Generation Y and make sure that everybody goes and checks out your organization, Jordan. And I'm just so thankful. And thank you for being a part of what I'm doing as well. I've mentioned this in my podcasts recently that I've started my own community for young adults, age early 20s to early 30s, called Vision is Victory Academy, VIVA for short. Yeah. So I thank you for being a part of that and adding to our masterclass list. Yes. And I just want to invite everybody to stay on and listen to a message that I have coming up for you to tell you a little bit more about VIVA and how you can be a part of it. So thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Jordan, for being on today.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Carey.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. And I'm just here to keep reminding you guys to keep looking up.
Design the life you've always dreamed of with VIVA, Vision is Victory Academy. Join us and discover how to transform your vision into victory. Whether you're seeking clarity, resilience, or a path to personal growth, VIVA is here to guide you every step of the way. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Make it happen with VIVA. Sign up today at visionisvictoryacademy.com and take the first steps towards a life of purpose and passion. Your future self will thank you.